All right, so the topic I want to talk to you guys today about is spiritual bypassing. Spiritual bypassing is done a lot. I see people do it all the time. So what is spiritual bypassing? Spiritual bypassing is ignoring what you're truly feeling underneath the surface, avoiding, ignoring, suppressing, and covering it up with a spiritual practice, another spiritual practice. So I feel like this is really common with people that are new to spirituality, with people who are really busy still focusing on external situations and obligations, that they just haven't really done the rest of the work that comes with spiritually evolving yourself. So like, for example, getting really stuck on just some of the superficial spiritual practices, like setting your environment, like, oh, look I have these new crystals. Look, I'm saging because I felt a bad energy. Look, I have Palo Santo, it smells beautiful. Like, you have like a basic concept on spirituality, and like it's really sacred to you, which is beautiful, it's great. But then when it comes to actually facing certain parts of you that are uncomfortable, you dodge the bullet. And you're like, no, this is not good. This is not in alignment with the rest of my spiritual practice. I must not focus on that. I must focus back on what is good. And see, the problem with that is you're tricking yourself and you're wearing another mask to try and protect yourself from what really lies beneath the surface. And the dangerous part with that is people will go about this for years, and then you have now created another false persona. You have now created a foundation with spirituality that is very at the surface. And in spirituality, we have to dive deep within us. Okay, and when you go deep within yourself, and you know, you're going to see aspects of yourself that are very uncomfortable. And so spiritual bypassing is done a lot. You know, when I talk about shadow work, a lot of people are resistant. Like, no, I don't want to face the shadow. Like, what is that? How do I do it? Like, I don't want to bring up those things. Like, I've already moved on. And I'm not here to try and convince anyone of anything. Like bless you and your journey and where you're at. You've come a long way. I'm proud of you regardless. But we have to understand that spirituality, you know, there's this huge, like the way media portrays it, let's say, they make fun of it because it's a bunch of spiritual bypassers that they're mocking. You know, it can be like the end of the world, and literally the end of the world, and it can be like raining flames, and people will still be like trying to like cover it up with love and happiness and peace and light, you know? And it's like, that's what they make fun of. And I see why. Because we have a bunch of people who are holding on to this image that is portrayed of spirituality and how you're supposed to be so blissed out and zened out the entire time. They're holding on to this concept that's been thrown out there from like new age communities, like the law of attraction mindset. And then you just have created a false image of what doing true spiritual work is. And so listen, like spiritual bypassing, see if you find yourself in these situations when you're like trying to avoid what you're really feeling within by like meditating a certain way that just makes you relaxed and comfortable. Like with meditation, like that's a whole other story I need to get into too. Like meditation is not just someone sitting cross-legged with their eyes closed, and meditation is not just laying down and like feeling relaxed. Like there's so many forms of meditation, but yeah, I'll talk about that in another video. So like less trying to cover up with band-aids, spiritual band-aids, and like things that make us comfortable and feel good again, and covering up what we're really feeling underneath. Okay, so less spiritual bypassing more, where is your light warrior, spiritual warrior aspect at? When is that going to show up? When is that going to be full and like at the front? Instead of mostly spiritually bypassing, tapping into your spiritual warrior for a few minutes every once in a while. When is it going to be like, all right, I'm going to take myself and my involvement so seriously that I'm okay with being uncomfortable for a while, that I'm gonna deal with it now, because there's never gonna be a perfect time to deal with the healing, the pain, and the trauma. There's never gonna be a perfect time. You can follow your intuition. Sure, follow your intuition. Your intuition will always guide you. But don't even listen to me. Like, listen to your own intuition. But how are you gonna have that connection with intuition and with your higher self until you do the work and you start getting out of the, you know, the like rainbow clouds mentality and like, it's always gonna be good. It's always, no, like, it's not always good. Like, this life is hard and you've been through a lot. Like, we gotta face those things too. So I'm kind of rambling on now, but I wanted to just briefly talk to you guys about spiritual bypassing and make sure you're not avoiding the unavoidable. You make sure you're not avoiding what's going to come out and project itself maybe negatively and in a harmful way when you don't process it, rather than processing it while you can still have some, like, while you're conscious of it. So that's what shadow work is too. It's like processing these dark emotions while you're conscious of it, rather than waiting for it to blow up and then manifest itself in an unhealthy way. All right, I'm gonna go. Mwah.